All right, so there's this really interesting thing that's occurring for me, and I want Brian to try it again and see if he's getting that.
Oh no.
But
Test
I'm
time.
getting sweetness in both of them.
You shouldn't have told me. Now I'm biased. A year ago, we made a date wine. Today, we're gonna taste it. We've already poured.
As you can tell. So we're starting off with color.
As you can see, it is a lovely, I would call that like amber.
Well, it's more towards the tea color.
Yeah.
Maybe a darker amber. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a medium to dark amber. Very, very clear, as you
Crystal
can see.
clear.
Right through it.
Beautifully clear.
I would say it's a really nice color. It looks a lot like a mead. It really does. It looks very much like a mead. And then on the smell, it's
heady.
Oh, wow. It's just got so much going on. There's so many things here. I smell the dates. Dates have this distinctive smell and flavor that is just really, really delicious.
Yeah, it's got that. Even though I don't believe you can actually smell sweetness, you can smell things that make you think that it's sweet.
Yeah.
And so the date, it smells syrupy, if that's a smell.
I even get a little bit of a honey character to it. There's no honey in this, but dates, when made into like the syrup and all that, can kind of remind people of honey, and I'm getting that a little bit.
I'm also getting kind of the cooked or smoked notes that we typically get with dried fruit. I'm getting that in the aroma, which is nice.
A little bit of a citrusy hit, and even a spice that I can't quite place my finger on. There's a spice in there.
Like nutmeg?
Might be. Could be not. Even cardamom.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'm ready to taste this sucker.
So we're going to start with our short sip, and this is to acclimate our palate.
That is really nice. First instinct is it's nice. It's full-bodied.
Oh, yeah.
Very rich. It hits your mouth. You taste the sweetness. Then there's a nice tannic quality. A little bit of an astringency that comes through. Cuts that sweetness really nicely. And it's clean on the way down. The finish is really, really clean. The exhale got a little bit of that sweetness coming back and a citrus hit. I want to say it's almost like lime. Lemon lime-ish. Yeah, it's not exactly anything. Yeah, it's an ish.
But as you can tell by Brian's description, the short sip was rather complex, and we don't normally get that variety of flavor profiles just in the quick sip. So that was impressive, and I'm looking forward to the longer sip.
Well, look forward no more, because it's time. The long sip is when you put it in your mouth, swish it around for a while, really get a feel for it, and then you swallow. Now, this is on the sweeter side, but I wouldn't call it like overly sweet. I'm even getting like a little bit of the bitterness that I get from a mead in this. It's very much like a mead. It really tastes like mead.
It really does taste like a mead, and I'm still getting the tactile sensation that I get with meads, where it has that coating honey, like when you take a spoonful of honey and it kind of coats your mouth.
Very coating,
getting
rich.
That from this. I also, at that time, I didn't allow the end to linger. I just kind of swallowed and then exhaled right away. And I got more of the alcohol punch that time. What is our ABV?
It is 18.2%.
Well, there you go. That's why.
I never would have guessed 18.2%. If I had to put a guess on it, I was thinking it was like 12, 13. Does not taste like 18% at all. So we have another sleeper, folks.
Yeah, the stuff that has the higher alcohol, and this is beyond what we brew, but like stuff that we buy commercially that's been distilled, like whiskey, because we like whiskey. There are times when I do the delicate enjoyment thing where I keep it in my mouth for a really, really long time, and at some point during that experience, particularly with whiskey and the higher ABV things, it's like,
it burns.
And you just gotta
Sensory
go for
overload.
it. You gotta swallow it. You gotta be done, and it's too much. Now, granted, 18% is a lot lower than, say, 30%
or 40 or
but
60.
I never got that sensation even remotely from this, and I managed to keep it in my mouth for a pretty long time. And it was only on that quick finish, quick exhale combo than I even realized that there was alcohol in it at all.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it. And
Yeah.
then she said that. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I do get a little bit of a sensation of alcohol. Impressive for 18% to not really taste the alcohol. That's really cool. And that's time. Because I remember when this was younger. I do remember this a little bit. It was nice. We liked it, but it wasn't like, oh, that's awesome. Today, it's a little different story. This aged really nicely, became super smooth. The flavors melded together so well that it's one cohesive unit now, rather than a bunch of disparate flavors.
Because
Having more.
I'm getting so much of that coating sensation and the sweetness. I would want to put this in like a cordial style or liqueur category.
Digestif. That is what
Yes.
it's called. We
Yes.
were told that after the last video when we were. That's the word I was looking for. I just couldn't think of it.
Yes, one of those. Because it's so unique.
But it's not quite that sweet.
No, but I think it's the combination of the sweetness and the textural element that makes it like if you drank this with food,
Yeah.
I think it would
This
be
would
a
make
little
a
bit
great bananas Foster.
Yes, it would. But as you can tell, if you watch this channel frequently, we are fans of Bananas Foster.
Yes. This is just, it's surprising. The flavors coming through, I'm getting a caramel flavor. I definitely get the date, that dried date feel, citrusy notes, even a little bit of floral notes coming through. And then there's some spice. And I want to say it's cardamom, but I'm not even 100% sure that that's what it is. It's
I
not
don't know.
cinnamon.
I just feel like I'm like
It's not clove.
I'm in the movie Casablanca or something, and I'm sipping this. Maybe with a fan.
Yeah.
It's hot.
This is just really, really nice. Definitely the kind of thing that I would put in a glass and just enjoy for a while. Really, really amazing. So the next thing is, this was at room temperature, stored at room temperature
Right.
for a whole year.
Right.
We want to taste it chilled, but I want to have a little bit more reference material
Oh yeah.
at room temperature. So we can do the
Yes.
back and forth
The
thing,
back and forth thing. Yes.
because that changes it. It's all relative, people. You know, perspective is everything.
It is.
We never do that. Somebody told me you should freeze the glass too. Oh yeah, well that'll make it colder. But then you got to be careful dropping those ice cubes in there because it'll shatter.
So I had a prediction that I wasn't going to like this chilled.
Ooh.
I was wrong.
Oh yeah, that's good. It simplified it. I'll admit. It took it down.
It did, but it made it sometimes simpler.
It
is
took the bitterness away.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, the bitter note
It's-
that was
it's
there kind of
kinda
took it away.
Smooth. Like I would say
It's dolphin smooth.
no, it's not dolphin smooth. But I would say this is kind of aggressive.
Really? You think so?
Not harsh aggressive, but like
Oh, it's a strong
the
flavor.
flavors are not hiding from you. They're like, bam, here
Yeah,
I am.
okay.
Enjoy me.
It's an in-your-face kind of flavor.
Right. Where this kind of tones all
a
that
little more-
down a little bit.
Yeah, it's a back
It doesn't water it down though. It's not like a completely diminished. It's just kind of smoothing out the edges a little bit. But now I have to do backwards and see if I change my mind.
It's better cold. There is a bitter note that comes through here that is definitely toned down when it's cold. Really, really nice when it's cold. It's beautiful cold. And we're coming up on fall. I would think this is the kind of thing that people might drink warm or even mulled. Like you could add some cinnamon and spices to this, warm it up, and this would be lovely. But I like it cold. So, I don't know.
All right, so there's this really interesting thing that's occurring for me, and I want Brian to try it again and see if he's getting that.
Oh no.
But
Test
I'm
time.
getting sweetness in both of them.
You shouldn't have told me. Now I'm biased.
All right, I'm going to stop right there.
So what do I have to do? Cold then hot or
it
hot?
doesn't matter. Just try both and focus on the sweetness aspect of both beverages, and try to describe what your brain is telling you about the sweetness.
What my brain is telling me. That's a scary thought. So I get sweetness off of room temperature. I get sweetness off of cold, but in the cold, it seems a little sweeter.
I'm getting more of like a sugar sweetness from the cold and a honey sweetness
Oh, that's
the
interesting.
warm.
Well, you know what it is? It's richer at room temperature
Yeah.
and thinner cold.
Sure.
So that could be, that's a
Yeah.
great way to describe that. I wouldn't have thought to describe it that way. But yeah, that is pretty much the experience. It's more a generic sweetness versus a rich sweetness.
Right. Right.
The main difference between mead and wine
Right.
at that point.
So for me, I cannot say definitively that I like this one better than this one or this one better than this
I like
one.
it a little bit better.
I think they're very different.
Yeah, they're both good.
I enjoy them both, and I think depending
like
on
it.
my mood, I might go for this, and if I have a different mood, I might go for this. So.
I'm generally lazy, so I drink things at room temperature most of the time.
Yes. Do we have a bottle? Okay, good. That we're good.
I feel like having it now. I don't want to wait. I
Think
want it
about it.
now.
we are not a complicated people.
But it takes 30 seconds to put ice cubes in. That is far too much effort. Way too much work. Just put it in a glass and drink it. I used to say that when I drank a lot more whiskey, that my whiskey cocktail contained 2 ingredients, a glass and the whiskey. That was it.
But I am pleasantly surprised at how this turned out.
It aged beautifully.
I think it's really nice, and I think when you were talking about mulling it, I think that really
This would lend itself
got
well.
the gears going, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
People have asked us to do that in these tastings too, and the problem is these tastings tend to get way too long as it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to add another element to them.
Right.
But, we could do like a mold special. We did it a couple years ago. We could take some
sure.
more and mold them.
It would be a great special to
Yeah.
post over the holidays.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. But guess what? It's time for numbers.
Oh, numbers.
Our simple numbering system, and I'll remind Derica while she figures out a number, is 1. Possibly the worst thing you've ever put in your mouth. Maybe toxic. You definitely wouldn't want to even give it to your worst enemy. Something you might just dump down the drain. 5 means you drink it. Might not be the first thing you'd reach for, but you'll drink it. 10 means it is the shining example of what a beverage should taste like. It also basically just means it's perfect. There's really nothing that you'd want to change. It would be one of the first things you'd ever reach for.
And so
And we make the rules so they
our
can change.
numbering is a culmination of whether it's
we just
room temperature.
give it a number.
All right.
How does it do overall? If you're going for more, I'm having more too.
This is unexpected.
Yeah,
That is my
I'm impressed. I
spoiler
like
for
this.
what number I'm going to give it.
I did not have high hopes for a date one. People told me I should do it, and it was a mess making this. I will tell you that right now. We are going to do a date syrup wine soon. We got date syrup, and we're going to try that out too, because this was such a mess. And after the flavors of this, I'm a little more hopeful for that date syrup wine now. I'm like, well, that might actually be a really good one. But I have a score. Do you have a score?
I have a score.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 9. I was debating between 8.5 and 9.
I was debating between 9 and 9.5.
Oh, okay. Well, since I would have been lower had I done 8.5, I'll go first because she doesn't like going first. Otherwise, I let her go first because, ladies first. My reasoning is I like this. I really like this a lot. But do I like this as much as some of the things that I've given higher scores? No. That's the only real determination that I have. Because as far as what would I do to improve it, make it cold all the time. That would, to me, would be the best way to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I could get rid of that bitter note in the regular room temperature, this would have been a 10. It's that kind of good. It's up there. This is possibly in my new top 10.
And if you think our wackiness is due to alcohol,
It's not.
think again, we're just naturally insane.
I think I'm actually more wacky when I'm not drinking than when I am. Caffeine actually has more of an effect on me than alcohol in a way. But anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.